Are you a bright winter and you want to know how to combine your bright winter palette with your facial essence? Let's talk about it. Just as a disclaimer, these are not silhouettes that I'm recommending the essences wear, but how to maximize their color palette, so color combinations. So if you have dramatic as your dominant essence, you're going to stick with the darkest and most brightest colors in the palette, just like if you were a dramatic kibby type. You're also going to use those colors in animal prints. If your dominant essence is natural, you're going to have a very limited palette. You're going to stick with a lot of those blues, those greens, and some of those yellows up top. And so the goal is going to be to stick with earth tones as closely as you can. So you can see here, there's going to be a lot of greens involved, bright greens, and some kind of like more on the neutral-ish blues. That's where you're going to rest in the palette. You're also going to use those for tribal prints or just like very plant-like prints. So you can see that yellow, the super bright that are plants if you look closely at it. And you can also use white to create more contrast as a bright winter. My girls with Gamine Essence as their dominant feature and their bright winters can pretty much use the whole palette. The key is going to be color blocking, pattern mixing, and creating lots of contrast in your looks. And you can definitely do that with this palette. For my girlies with classic dominant essence and they are bright winters, they're going to stick mostly in the neutral section of the palette, which is a little bit limited, but the possibilities are endless, right? So because you're a bright winter, you're going to want to create as much contrast and boldness as possible. So you're going to rest in the neutral and then use some of the other colors as accents to kind of give you that pop. And you can see that up there with the purple accents. For my girlies with dominant romantic essence, you have a lot to work with. So your main recommendations are shades of red, black, and adding blink. And so you can do that, but also keeping in mind what true winters can do too. Some of those super dark pinks, magentas, and fuchsias can also kind of translate into more of the sensual red. So you can play around with those colors. So you get a lot of the dark pinks. You also get some true reds in there, like those reds are gorgeous. And black. But of course, because you're a bright winter and you want to add some brightness, I would recommend that when you're utilizing black to highlight your essence, to add as much bling as possible in the look. For my ingenue bright winters, you're going to rest mainly with the pastels, shades of pink and white. And so that's going to be really nice, especially with all of those pastels you get to work with. You have some really cool options, and you can even pick around with some like purples and pinks that are a little bit darker to create some contrast with pastels. And last but certainly not least, we have my ethereal girlies. You're going to be resting in the metallic section, so you can utilize that by actually adding metallics to your look, adding a metallic finish, or adding things like silk and satin to create kind of like a sheen and shine. You're going to definitely be utilizing white and pastels, and it's going to be an amazing look. You guys have a wonderful day.